I don't know if it was just recording because I saw the red light flashing. These are called cheap batteries. Didn't even last for recording. But anyway, I hope it was recorded. And right then, he's walking and a lady comes and says to him, "Are you the man that was beaten for wearing the tefillin?" He says, "Yes." She says, "I was watching with all the Jews. We had tears in our eyes. We didn't even know we had tears left in our eyes after all the suffering they endured. But can you marry me? Because I need someone to protect me, and you're a brave man. Can you marry me?" And he says, "That's how I met your mother, for tefillin." So now, after the war, I didn't wear it and became like a regular American, assimilated, acting like a guy. But if you want to wear tefillin, son, it's a good idea, and I think I'm going to start wearing them too. And he became religious. And now that he became religious, he was heading to shul for the first time.
Oh my God.
But Shabbat, he didn't know how to pray, didn't know how to hold a siddur. What do you say? So he thought, you know what? I'll stay in the back row, and I'll just like kind of watch how people pray, and I'll try to find the right page. And as he's sitting there in a shul, he's really the lifeguard of the pool. But that day he decided, I'm not going to be the lifeguard of the pool. I'm going to go to shul. And as he's sitting in the back, a guy comes over and says, "Hey, you're in my seat." He's like, "Well, find a different seat." "No, that's my seat." And he's thinking to himself, "Come on, let me sit here. I'm so embarrassed. I'm so shy. I don't know how to pray." And the guy's like, "Come on, get out of my seat. Come on, I'll show you where you're supposed to sit." He sits him all the way in the front. And he's so embarrassed. Everyone's probably looking at me. He's so self-conscious. He's thinking everyone's staring at him. And the whole time he's like trying to figure out what page they're on. He's looking at the guys next to him, and he doesn't know how to pray. He kind of looked like Yankel Amaretz, if you saw that video. And it turns out, when he was trying to pray, he didn't know, but his dog, he had this big dog. It was the size of a horse. Gigantic dog. And it was a big dog. And it followed him to shul.
What?
But he didn't know that the dog was outside. And the dog was trained not to go in buildings. But the dog was worried about his master. Dogs love their masters. They hate the world, but they love their masters. Hashem put in a dog a certain love for their master. So after a while, the dog was getting worried for his master. So the dog starts going in the shul. And people see a dog in the shul. "Whoa, what is this?" And he starts screaming, dog in shul, can't live in the shul. So all of a sudden he realizes, oh gosh, it's his dog. So he thinks to himself, okay, this is too embarrassing. Oh, I'm going to pretend it's not my dog. So the dog comes right up to him. He's like, go away, dog. A dog loves him. He's jumping all over him. And go away, dog. The dog's jumping all over him. And the president of the shul says, "What is this? Take your dog out of the shul. What are you doing here?" And he's thrown out of the shul with his dog. He said that day he had no friends. All the non-religious Jews who were going swimming on Shabbat, the Chilonim, they hated him because he didn't open the pool. And all the religious ones, the from ones that said he came in the shul, say, "Who's this Majnun that brings a dog to shul?" So they threw him out. He said that they had no friends. So it took me years till I got my friends back. But he eventually became the biggest politician, one of the biggest Palei Teshuvah. And today he expanded the organization of Arachim, and he goes around the world teaching non-religious Jews how happy it is to be a Jew. How lucky we are to be a firm Jew. How wholesome and meaningful is the life of a firm Jew. And to him, we could say that Ashrei, lucky are those that did teshuvah, that this way they won't be embarrassed in the world to come. There's a beautiful story, which is a well-known story, from Reb Shalom Shvadran. I think it's also printed in many storybooks today. It's about the furnace and the fire. Nowadays, people have heating in their homes, Baruch Hashem. But there was once a time where people didn't have a boiler that sends heat throughout the house. Like today, many people have an oil heater built into the house or a radiator. In the olden days, they would often make an oven where you cooked from, and also the heat would come out and warm the house. And if you were very wealthy, you could afford a fireplace. And that's what some homes even have today, even though they don't need the fireplace because they have central heating. But it's nice to warm up on a cold winter night when it's snowing and windy outside, and they cozy up next to a fire and they feel the radiance and the warmth, and it's a special feeling. So there was a man who used to build these ovens, these furnaces. And he was a very special person, a tzaddik. And this was his job. He would make for people fireplaces and furnaces. And the story goes, it happened about over 100 years ago, that the great Gadol Hadar, the great Gadol B'Yisrael, the Ridbaz, who was Yaakov David, he lived in Tzefas. Tzefas is a very holy city in Israel. And when he was already an older man, in his 80s, it was very cold outside and snowy, or if not snowy, it was just freezing, numbing cold. And this man, Rabbi Yaakov David, went to say the Kaddish for his father's yahrzeit. Because one of the things a son does for a father is that when the father